is a place very close to you, a place easily accessible in a serene environment with adequate security. Ade Super Hotels Limited is the place with the state-of-the-art facility, spacious car park, air-conditioned rooms and suites with modern toilet facilities, standard swimming pool, well-stocked indoor and outdoor baths, boardroom for corporate meetings, halls for all kinds of events and parties, a gymnasium equipped with up-to-date facilities, restaurants that provide local and continental dishes with special services for banquet and buffet. Laundry services are also available. At Ade Super Hotels Limited, you are assured of 24 hours power supply as well as best ever reception that you can imagine. Ade Super Hotels is located at Elisha Road, PO Box 3028, Akure, Ondo State. Telephone 0803 440 4358, 034 206 855. Email adesuperhotels@yahoo.com. Website www.adesuperhotels.com. Ade Super Hotels Limited, hotel with passion for maximum comfort.
Brand new from Airtel. Oh, yeah, no.
I'm living in my lane, happy every day. Things are not the same. Oh no. Now I chop from a buffet, unlimited buffet. Why I not there fear? Cause I know it's more than enough for me. Ocean no feet fish, highway no get limits. I have all I need. Data unlimited, data unlimited.
To enjoy unlimited data on your devices, visit airtel.com.ng/HBB.
Data unlimited.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Abound everywhere. But when you're looking for a cozy, comfortable, luxury, and environment that will take you to the zenith of your expectations, A&T Residential Hotels is the place. The rooms are designed to be your home away from home. We have services, both bar, room, and kitchen are all 24 hours. We have an Olympic-sized swimming pool and our gym to keep your body fit. Our staff are excellent as they welcome you with royalty. Come shake your body as our nightclub opens every Friday with Asu Barbecue. Asuya joints available all day. We have a whole capacity of about 1,500 for your occasions. Welcome to A&T Presidential Hotels, Kilometer 5, Elisha, Owo Expressway, Akure, Ondo State. Telephone 081 4633 5949 and 070 1222 6282. A&T Presidential Hotels. Comfort and class redefined.
Congratulations to our poultry, pig, sheep, and goat farmers in Ondo State as Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project (LPRES) begins provision of common assets such as abattoir, slaughterhouse, pasture, sheep and goat markets, biodigester, veterinary clinic, farmer field school, artificial insemination center, training, loan support, free vaccination, among others, to enhance productivity, resilience, and commercialization of these value chains. LPRES is here to serve you. Please report header farmer clashes to LPRES for prompt intervention. You can visit your local government for complaints on GBV, sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment at LPRES project location in your area. LPRES beneficiary profiling is always free, but know that there is no input support for beneficiaries. For more inquiries, please contact Ondo LPRES project at ground floor, Aisa building, beside ADP Alagbaka Akure. Facebook page is Ondo LPRES project. Email ondo@lpresnigeria.gov.ng. Telephone 003 395 7166. LPRES project, enhancing livestock profitability.
It is another edition of News Diary. News Diary is a compilation of fresh reports and some of the ones that came your way in the course of the week. A very good evening to you and you are welcome. We'll go on a short break. News Diary returns with the news of the day. Please stay with us. The Constitutional Review Committee of the House of Representatives, chaired by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, has proposed sweeping amendments to the 1999 Constitution aimed at curbing presidential powers, reforming the electoral process, and deepening inclusivity in governance. Among the key proposals is the removal of the president's power to proclaim the National Assembly, transferring this responsibility to the clerk of the National Assembly. The same provision would apply to state legislatures where clerks would proclaim houses of assembly, taking the power away from governors. The committee is also recommending reforms to guarantee that any elected member with a valid certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is immediately sworn in and allowed to assume office without delay, removing potential bottlenecks by presiding officers. Another significant proposal is the creation of a political parties registration and regulatory commission, which would take over INEC's role in registering and regulating political parties, leaving INEC to focus solely on the election management. The committee also seeks to alter Section 84(1)53 and the third schedule of the Constitution to mandate all elections, presidential, governorship, and legislative be held on the same day to streamline the process and reduce administrative costs. Nigeria's upstream oil sector recorded a year-on-year increase in output, averaging 1.63 million barrels per day of crude oil and condensates in August 2025, from 1.58 million barrels per day in the same period last year. This is based on crude oil and condensate production for August 2025 released by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. A breakdown of August 2025 production comprises 1.43 million barrels per day of crude oil, which grew 5.47% compared to August last year, which posted a daily crude oil average of 1.36 million barrels per day. This reflects a steady recovery and improved operational performance across the industry. Notably, Nigeria's crude oil output in August met 96% of its OPEC quota, which is set at 1.5 million barrels per day. This demonstrates the country's capacity to meet its production targets under the OPEC agreement. In a bid to curb social vices, unrest, and foster unity among the youth of our kingdom, as well as inculcating the culture in them, the sports fiesta was introduced by the Olowo of Owo as part of the annual Igugu Cultural Festival of the ancient town. Kayode Olorundare reports that the football event of the Olowo Sports Festival was sponsored by an aspirant of Owo Ose Federal Constituency in the 2027 elections, Ajibola Adetola. The report.
16 teams, 48 matches, but one winner each from both the male and the female categories at the end of the keenly contested football event at the festival. The 2025 Olowo Sports Festival is the third in the series, aimed at shifting the attention of the youth from acts capable of destroying their lives, while introducing them to the values embedded in their cultural heritage. After weeks of the round leather game, the female football team of Methodist High School, Owo, defeated the St. Catherine Girls Grammar School 3-0 to clinch the trophy. In the male category, the game was a tough one between Imade College and the male team of Methodist High School. Imade College emerged champions in the male category after beating their counterpart from Methodist High School 2-1. The Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Geshin Ugunoye III, noted that the initiative will go a long way in discovering future football stars.
A pure traditional cultural festival. I'm aware that if we are able to package our youth, not only for the for the elderly who are much more used to it, but the younger ones. We saw the reason to introduce some aspects to encourage our youth to be part of it.
The sponsor, Ajibola Adetula, says it is his own little way in contributing towards a united and progressive Owo kingdom.
Developing new talents, bringing together communities, exploring what sports can do in terms of teaching us how to overcome challenges. These are the motivating factors for putting all the efforts behind this great competition in support of the Olowo's Cup.
Chairman of the occasion appreciates the Olowo for bringing a unifying factor into Igogo Cultural Festival and for making sure that the youth are meaningfully engaged.
Our Kabiyesi for this feat, because he has been able to bring everybody together, and he's achieving a lot for Owo now. And you can see with this football event, the youth are now beginning. It's like the olden days when we were small. These are the things that we used to see. So with this, the Kabiyesi has been able to bring back the old days, and we are happy for this.
Sporting competition like this is an opportunity for people to train, learn, perseverance, resilience, and above all, unity.
The Olowo Sports Festival began 3 years ago with only male football, as the women's game made its debut this year. From Owo in our local government, Kayode Olorundare, NTA News.
And next is sports update.
Let's begin with athletics. Nigerians rising 400-meter hurdle star Ezekiel Nathaniel edged his name deeper into history on Friday at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. The 21-year-old clocked an astonishing 47.11 seconds in the final, breaking his own national record, but narrowly missed out on a medal, finishing fourth. Despite missing the podium, Nathaniel's performance stands as a landmark achievement. His 47.11 seconds run now ranks as the fastest time ever recorded by a Nigerian in the event.
Over the final hurdle, tips it over, but look at Dos Santos, who's going to take this 46.54 and a national record for Nigeria. Ezekiel Nathaniel, 47.11.
Meanwhile, the stage is set for the first phase of the 2025 Controller General of Customs Volleyball Premier League, which is currently on at the Indoor Sports Hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. This year's competition is featuring a total of 24 teams, 12 in the men's category and 12 in the women's, battling for supremacy in what promises to be an exciting season. Speaking at a press conference ahead of the competition in Abuja, organizers assured that they are fully prepared to deliver the best edition.
This year is going to be very unique. Why? Because it's going to put smiles in the face of the players, and then at the end of the day, they will all have something to go home with.
The subsidy for the teams and players in this first phase is 24 million. And the final phase, it will be the same thing again. Not talk of other incentives that have come to play.
Away from the volleyball court, attention now shifts to match day 5 of the Nigerian Premier Football League this weekend. Fans will be treated to 5 matches across different venues, while 4 fixtures have been postponed due to continental commitments. The game between Katsina United and Wiki Tourist has been rescheduled for Monday. Meanwhile, in England, Liverpool host Everton at Anfield in the opener for Premier League match day 5. Brighton clash with Tottenham, while later in the day, Manchester United face Chelsea at Old Trafford. With Sport Update, Peter Oibo, NTA News.
You are still watching News Diary. We will go on another break. It continues after. Please stay with us. Now to some of the news that made headlines in the course of the week. Underground work towards returning President Bola Tinubu for a second term was reviewed to be in progress during the week as the Ondo State chapter of Asiwaju Media team met in Akure to strategize for the 2027 general elections. Paul Umukago has details.
This gathering is made up of youths across the 18 local government areas of Ondo State. The purpose is to brainstorm, strategize, and mobilize grassroots support for President Bola Tinubu and all those contesting elective positions in the 2027 general elections in Ondo State. To ensure that the media team is well groomed for the task ahead, a seminar is already in the offing where all members of Asiwaju Media Team are expected to be trained. Organizer and Director General of Asiwaju Media Team, Ondo State, says a lot is expected from the team.
In 2023, we worked vigorously to deliver our principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and now we felt that the time has come again to deliver Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for second time. That is why we are regrouping ourselves, we are accommodating new members, doing revalidation for all members, so that we will know the next line to draw the strategies.
NTA also got reactions from participants on the essence of the gathering.
We bring ourselves together like we have done in 2023 to work for him so that he can be successful in the election.
We now see that it's better for us to start earlier than, okay, because it's still far, we should not. That's why we decided that we should come now to brainstorm, to work on the roadmaps, on how to make sure that we have a solid plan.
A communique was read at the end of the meeting where they endorsed and supported the policies of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa.
The Asiwaju Media Team unanimously resolved to work vigorously towards the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and to deliver victory for all candidates of the All Progressive Congress APC in Ondo State.
Subsequent meetings, the media team says, will escalate further on their action plans for successful and peaceful general elections in Ondo State. In Akure, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
The need to respond to the growing demand for knowledge sharing and technology transfer among nations due to globalization, with the increased pressure on wildlife and the negative effects on natural heritage, was during the week stressed at the 7th Annual Conference of Wildlife Society of Nigeria held in Akure. Adebayo Jagede reports that the conference was with the theme Globalization and Wildlife Trade, Trends and Impacts on Conservation.
Research shows that Nigeria is a major transit hub in the global illegal wildlife trade, as habitat destruction, poaching, and illegal trade are pushing many species towards extinction. Consequently, Chairman of the local organizing committee, Professor Anthony Ogunjimi, cautioned against the sole reliance on wildlife as a source of income, emphasizing the need for increased sensitization on wildlife conservation.
There was failure of all the projects and programs for conservation because people were not taken along in terms of engagement. They were not engaged. So engagement in most countries with very successful conservation projects, community engagement has always been a priority.
We don't have all these wild animals around us again. So there's need to collaborate and support the initiative of this Wildlife Society of Nigeria.
The Conservator General of the Nigerian National Park Service, Ibrahim Goni, highlighted the importance of proactive measures and support for effective conservation.
For some time now, we have 7 national parks in the country. Not about 2 years ago, 10 additional national parks were added. Out of the 10 that were added, 5 are also taken over by the service. The normal federal government subvention, which we call allocation, cannot, take us far.
We are calling on the government and, well-meaning people to rise up to save all this pristine environment from the decadence that this banditry is bringing into the place.
The Director General and CEO of NESCREA, Dr. Innocent Bariko, in a goodwill message delivered by Gidalo Ithoro, the agency promised to remain steadfast and ensure that Nigeria complies with international trade.
NESCRA remains steadfast in enforcing environmental regulations, tackling illegal wildlife trade, and ensuring Nigeria's compliance with international conventions such as CITES.
Highlights of the conference were the induction of new members and the presentation of merit awards to people who have made significant contributions in the fight against deforestation in Nigeria, especially in Ondo. The 4-day conference is expected to gather professionals and authorities in forestry and wildlife to share knowledge, expertise, and best practices, ultimately contributing to the preservation of Nigeria's forest resources. In Akure, Adibao Jegede, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu during the week officially launched the Nigeria Energy Acceleration Program and inaugurated the National Energy Master Plan Implementation Committee with a bold mandate operationalize a $50 billion National Energy Fund over the next decade to give every Nigerian, no matter their location or income, access to reliable, affordable and clean energy. Justin Ben Uji reports.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu launched the Nigeria Energy Acceleration Program and inaugurated the National Energy Master Plan Implementation Committee, NEMIC, with a $50 billion target to deliver affordable, reliable and clean energy to every Nigerian. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji, said the master plan is a roadmap to secure Nigeria's energy future, expand the energy mix, and fast-track clean technology adoption in line with global climate goals. The National Energy Fund will attract public and private investment into solar, wind, hydro, and emerging energy projects, creating jobs and driving industrialization.
The National Energy Master Supply is not just a document. It is a comprehensive blueprint that charts Nigeria's course toward a secure, diversified, and sustainable energy future. It outlines clear pathways for strengthening our energy security, expanding the energy mix, accelerating the adoption of clean and efficient technologies, and ensuring that our development agenda aligns with global commitments to sustainable growth and climate action.
The Director General of Energy Commission of Nigeria, Abdullahi Mustafa, described the plan as a solution to high business costs caused by energy shortages, while NEMI co-chair Nuruddin Yakubu called it a game changer for national growth. With government backing and stakeholder support, Nigeria is on course to achieve universal energy access and become a clean energy leader in Africa. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
We are still watching News Diary and we are still on some of the reports that made headlines in the course of the week. The Nigerian Television Authority during the week inaugurated its groundbreaking Creative Media Sector Skills Steering Committee, marking a new era in the media industry. The committee aimed to identify specific areas where skills shortages are most acute and tap into expertise in the dynamic realm of creative media development and workforce training. The report.
The Director General, I want to remind you of the importance of this exercise, to really put in our efforts, to be dedicated.
Filled with a sense of purpose, the committee, comprising of seasoned media professionals, academic experts drawn from the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, members from the Creative Media Sector Skills Council, the film industry, digital content creators, and technical specialists affirmed their resolve to address critical skills gaps in Nigeria's changing creative industry.
Each time I listen to our colleagues on television, I feel, very, very unhappy the way things are going. And I've been thinking of how can we begin to train our young generations, to get the rudiments of the profession.
Their mandate now is to develop strategic training frameworks, establish skill certification standards, and create pathways for emerging talents to become gainfully employed in the industry. The Renewed Hope initiative comes as Nigeria's creative industry continues to gain international recognition, with Nollywood currently ranking as the world's second largest film industry, and Nigerian music artists achieving widespread global acclaim, having the potential for economic and cultural impact.
The Sector Skill Council is designed to bridge the gap between industry and training providers by first identifying occupational standards and competencies required in the creative media sector.
You are tasked with overseeing the implementation of training programs that are in line with global best practices and meet the specific needs of our local industry.
To translate vision into action, this approach aims to engage international partners for knowledge transfer in areas such as digital storytelling, film production techniques, and multimedia journalism. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, Nta News.
Karim Ahmed during the week examined the ways farmers can tackle post-harvest losses as the federal government introduced a post-harvest system transformation program. The report.
With a large portion of farm produce wasted each year due to poor storage, inadequate pressing facilities, and weak distribution network, the situation affects not only food availability but also reduces farmers' earnings and worsens the federal and state government plan for food sufficiency and security.
At times, if you look at the places where these produce are coming out, they are very far. That is in terms of a distance. Before some of these produce get to the market areas, at least some of them must have been rotting. The government has to prepare a very good road for farmers to bring out their produce from the forest or from the site down to the marketable areas. And other things the government has to do is to encourage farmers, either by granting them an incentives in form of loans, to encourage them in keeping it up.
In a significant move to tackle the difficulties in preserving and ensuring availability of food for the entire calendar year, the federal government is working with the private partners to develop warehouses, silos, and frozen storage centers in key farming regions. While these facilities are expected to help reduce spoilage, farmers in rural areas continue to struggle with weak market linkages and the absence of modern transport systems, which they fear will undermine the effectiveness of the good intentions of the government.
I want to encourage these farmers to come to us if there is anything they are producing that they think can result into loss, excess, if they have it. Of course, we always have a bit as a government to interface with those that would take it from them. The Nigeria Commodity Exchange, they have given me their word that they are going to come to Ondo State and make sure all the silos in Ondo State are actually working in a perfect condition.
Experts maintain that tackling post-harvest losses is just as important as boosting food production. They know that with effective implementation of these programs, Nigeria could improve food security, support farmers' livelihood, and strengthen its agricultural economy. In Akure, Karim Ahmed, Nta News.
And lastly, tonight on News Diary, normal operation during the week returned to all government-owned hospitals in Akure after the suspension of the warning strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors. Paul Omukago reports.
Operations during the warning strike was skeletal, with nurses and other medical staff attending to patients. However, following the suspension, the normal traffic of patients and consulting is back in full, though the returning doctors refused speaking on camera due to official commitments. A senior nurse at the University of Medical Sciences Hospital in Akure assured Ondo State residents of resumption of full services in all the government-owned hospitals.
The doctor coming back to work, we hate the work and we fast forward even seeing patients so that they will have their treatments received and go back to their home, ill and healthy, for quick recovery.
The resident doctors suspended the warning strike following a breakthrough in negotiations with the federal government team. In Akure, Paul Omukago, Nta News.
And that's News Diary tonight. We thank you for watching. Good evening.